Hi, I'm Lisa Saunders. Welcome to my show, and I'm really excited because today I have a musician, a singer-songwriter here who I met for the first time at S&T Oyster Club or House. Which one do you remember?
Club. That was your suggestion, actually.
Okay.
I think it was Club.
Or is it House? Anyway, we met in downtown Mystic. It was gorgeous, sitting on the patio, watching the bridge go up and down, and I learned a lot about you. You're a singer-songwriter. Introduce yourself and tell me where you're from.
Well, my name is Deborah Lynn Alt, and I am originally from New York, and I moved to Connecticut about 15 years ago. And I've been singing and writing songs for many, many years. I'm glad I don't have to say how many. And I know that we thought it would be fun to play some music and talk, so this feels like a nice way to start. I wrote a song for the state of Connecticut, actually.
Oh, you did?
I did.
For the state. Is this before you moved here or after?
No. I was here, and I actually was applying for this position called the Connecticut State Troubadour, and I thought it would be really fun, and I didn't really know much about what the responsibilities were, but the requirements were very intriguing. I had to put my resume together in a way I hadn't done before, so it kind of forced me to really pull everything together and look at what I had done and accomplished. And one of the requirements was to write a song about Connecticut. And I love a good songwriting challenge. And I thought, how am I going to rhyme Connecticut? So I really couldn't figure out how to do it. And then it occurred to me, as a New Yorker, born and bred, I think of Connecticut as where New England begins. And I thought, I'll make that the title, Where New England Begins.
Oh.
So that's my Connecticut song, and every time I play it, people love it, particularly if they're in Connecticut, and New Yorkers like it too.
Oh, that's great. Well, of course I want to hear it.
Okay, well, that's great, because I'm ready to play it. This is the Connecticut song, also known as Where New England Begins. I was a single city girl, following her heart, had enough of urban life, out to make a brand new start. Something fresher, cleaner, kinder, more air beneath my wings. Loaded up my car, and little girl with all our things, I set out to find where New England begins. New England begins where the steeples and the greens are proudly framed by landmark towns. New England begins when the car horns and the crowds finally fade away and settle down. New England begins where the city lines get blurred and the wetlands and marinas hug the shore. New England begins where the church bells can be heard while you're chatting with the folks that live next door. There's pumpkins on our front porch, kids are playing in the snow. In the community that's welcoming, our roots begin to grow. Made new friends at school bus stops with our coffee mugs in hand. The days are sweet and full here, I'm liking where I am. There's a way of life where New England begins. New England begins with fields and roadside stands, with husky banners waving husky pride. New England begins where the Sox and Yankee fans can be found together, cheering side by side, hopefully. New England begins where the walls are made of stone and the autumn reds and yellows are aflame. New England begins where the rivers weave their way to the sound on a long midsummer's day. My home is where New England begins. Connecticut is where New England begins.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Isn't that fun? fun.
Yes,
Everybody loves
I can
that.
relate to absolutely everything
so
you
glad.
said because I'm
glad.
from New York, and I always
that's right. That's right.
yeah,
of
and I
course.
just thought, wow, New England. That's
Right? I know. And you think about, well, I'm going up 95. What do I see? I see, the marshes, and I see, the traffic is dying down a little bit, hopefully, not in the summer, maybe. And,
yeah.
right? But I just, those were all my senses of New England. And then, wow, I live here now. It was just so much fun to write that song.
I love that song. Is it on any of the tourism websites? Like, is that?
No, but that's a good idea. I
would contact them and just see about showing up at some of their events, like Connecticut visits. There's
that's a good idea. I know promoting is definitely not my forte, which is why I'm so glad I met you. Which is how we met, of course.
Well, it's a lot of work, and you need to have other people's ideas. But if I was the state of Connecticut, I would want your song on my website.
Well, there are the Connecticut State Troubadours have all written songs for Connecticut, and they're all really different. But I just,
what's
everybody.
a troubadour anyway?
It's actually there. Oh, you mean the Connecticut State Troubadour?
What does that mean?
A troubadour is a name for someone. It's kind of an old-fashioned word. You don't hear it very often, but it really just connotes someone that sings, and I think it gives it a little bit more class than just saying a singer. It's kind of got this anachronistic feel to it,
right?
And so it was kind of interesting to hear that they had that in the state. There's a few states that have it.
Now that's kind of a little bit of a joke. You saying that the Yankees and the Boston Red Sox fans like rooting together? I don't think so.
Well, I got that line from. I remember I was once in Stony Creek in Branford, where I used to live, and I walked into this really cool little grocery store type market. And it was around the time of one of the World Series games, and I remember the papers, everyone was talking about it, and there was such a bustle, and I remember thinking, I'm really in the middle here, between Boston and New York.
Yes.
And it was, my family's born and bred Yankee fans, I mean, really hardcore. And then here I am surrounded by a place where there's some pretty serious Sox fans, so I just thought of every time I think of that line, I think of that market and just, all the hustle and
because they're not that in love with each other. You know that, right? If you're a serious Yankee fan or
that vibe, yeah.
So, because sometimes I won't let my husband wear his Yankee stuff out when we're walking around downtown Mystic, because I just don't like to get into those kind of arguments.
I can see that, yeah.
And there was this Yankee shirt I wanted to get for my dog, because I thought it would be funny, and I thought, no, he can't wear this here because I don't know who I'm going to meet, and I just want everybody to be happy.
Yeah, people are pretty intense about it, I know, which really amazes me.
Right. Yeah. I heard that if you're east of the Connecticut River, you're a Red Sox fan.
Oh, okay.
And west, then you're still a Yankees fan or Mets, whatever.
Okay. Well, I won't speak to that because I am just east of the river, so I won't say anything.
But anyway, is there a way if I wanted to link that song to some things that I write about? Is there a way, or would people be able to download it? Was it on your CD? Because I listened. You let me listen to one of your CDs. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
And I don't remember hearing that song.
Actually, and I'm glad you reminded me because I just decided last week to start recording my third CD. And that reminded me that that's another song that I haven't recorded yet. So I've had a few written since my second one, which came out in 2008. And I'm planning on working on another one, so it will be coming out soon.
Good. How can we'll ask again, but how can people get a copy of your CD? Like, how can they find you?
Well, I set up my website, and that was no small task for me.
Well, it's very pretty.
Thank you.
I like how you did it.
Thanks.
So,
well, I had help. I had some designers help.
Well, good. I mean, it looks really professional. And just say, we have it for the screen, but just say it. What's your website again?
It's Deborah Song, DebraSong, which I had that name as soon as everybody started picking their email addresses. I thought, Deborah Song. I like the way it played together.
That was really good. I like that because I can remember that.
It was its intent.
Deborah Song. As long as they know your first name, then they can find your website, and they have your, there's that beautiful video of you talking about your life.
I just finished that actually a few weeks ago. My friend Ann Chatterton, who's a wonderful videographer, helped me do that, and she had this vision for me as an artist because she knew I was trying to do more promotion and get my songs out there. And we worked on that over the summer. We actually started doing some filming last year, some really good gigs. And just finished putting it together. I'm really proud of it.
Oh, I loved it.
Really good, thank you.
And I thought, oh my gosh, I need to do that for myself. You know, because I have
it does take time.
I have to look dreamy-eyed. You know, Lisa, the writer. I'm just, do you know what I mean?
I know she did shots of me like sitting there writing, which of course I do.
Right,
you know.
I know, but you have to actually have people see it.
I know.
You know, I have to have a little bit more mystery about me, I think. And yours makes you look mysterious, creative.
Glad to hear that.
Yeah, and now you play for different places. Can you tell me where people can find you? Different kind of venues that you play at?
I do list where I play on my website, and now I'm about to enter the fall and winter, and I'm working on setting up gigs for the spring. I do fundraisers in the meantime. I'm just always open to doing things and local things. I just played for a local association, and I really don't say no to very much when it comes to singing and playing because I really enjoy it. And the truth is, I'm now beginning to start setting up my calendar again. I used to just go from event to event, but I would like to get a more regular calendar going, and that's hence my desire and impetus for all the marketing and promotion, because I'm going through some changes in my life now. I'm starting to get to the end of my job, so I think it's time to put music more on the front burner.
Well, I love, you have a unique way in a direction that you're going, and your logo is Cause and Just Because. Did I say it right?
Yeah, music for cause and just because.
Yeah, and just tell me a little bit about that. Like, I thought it was, you write songs for special events, and you're really getting into causes. And I went on your website, and I saw autism, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. How is
Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah, Habitat for Humanity.
Child abuse.
You have a lot. Do you want to just tell me about introduce one song and play one of those cause songs?
I'd be happy
for
to.
me?
Well, I started getting into a groove of writing songs for different people. It started when I was writing for fun, for friends. And then my parents were involved in a child abuse organization. And somehow we had the idea that it would be great to get me involved and write a song for them. And I did that, and it was a song called Born of Light for child abuse. And it just was so satisfying, fulfilling, and to find all the ways in which you could use it and inspire people and use it for fundraising. And I always give a percentage of the sale of my CDs to different organizations, depending on, I have 2 different CDs. And so it just sort of grew from that. And then when this woman I met heard my first CD, this was very exciting for me. She called me and said that she needed a song for her adopted daughter. And she actually commissioned me to write a song for her She had 2 adopted daughters. And that was really exciting because I was actually going to be compensated for something that I love to do. And that came out really well also. People who are adopted or adoptees love that it's called In the Most Important Way. Oh. And I know I'm going on and on, but
no, I'm interested.
I can play some of the songs I play on my piano and the keyboard, and some I play in the guitar. So one I thought that might be nice to share is the one I wrote for Habitat for Humanity. I started volunteering for them, and I always thought they were a wonderful organization. And I just thought that it would be great to give them a song. So I actually sang it at their annual meeting, actually right around here. They had it at the Coast Guard a few years ago, and I've sung it at different fundraisers, different chapters. And it's just, I think it's a great song.
Explain what Habitat is really quickly.
Habitat?
For Humanity, that's when you're building homes.
Habitat for Humanity is an organization that's set up to empower people to build their own homes with the support of fundraising and volunteerism. And it's really, what makes it unique, I think, is that it really does get down. People just pick up hammers and they really build these homes. And there's all these subsidies involved. And I just thought it was really a great thing. And I found out about it actually through my daughter. When she was in high school, she started volunteering for them and did builds. And, I was just so impressed with how they ran their organization. So I got involved and started volunteering at the Restore, actually when it was in Salem. So I wrote the song for them, which I'm really proud to play. It's called Decent Shelter. From where I sit and what I see, from the comfort of my easy chair. Every corner of this blessed world cries out for love, hope, and repair. Question always comes down to, what can one single person do? We have to pick somewhere to start. Find the thing that moves your heart. We all need decent shelter, place to live, a house, a home to call our own, a roof and walls around to keep us safe and warm, windows to let the light shine in, a house, a home to call our own, reaching out to our communities, framing houses, one home at a time. All these hands and hearts and families, building meaning into our lives. So many people who really need the kind of help that we can bring. Pick up a hammer and a prayer. That's what it means to really care. We all need decent shelter, place to live, a house, a home to call our own, a roof and walls around to keep us safe and warm, windows to let the light shine in, a house, a home to call our own. I'm so grateful to have all the things I do, loved ones and a house to come home to. I want to be part of what's rebuilding our humanity. In giving, there's so much to receive. We all need decent shelter, place to live, a house, a home to call our own, a roof and walls around to keep us safe and warm, windows to let the light shine in, a house, a home to call our own.
Wow.
Decent shelter.
And that's so catchy, because I guess, what's that called when you say a certain thing over and over?
Oh, cliche?
No, refrain or...
Oh, refrain or chorus, yeah.
Is that what it is when you're saying we all
Yeah.
need decent stuff? Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, well, I
guess
tried
that's why
to.
It's catchy.
I thought it would work, and yeah, I sang it at a build or two, and yeah, that would be another thing I'd like to. I feel like I've planted all these seeds with these different organizations. Mothers Against Drunk Driving. I wrote this song called More Than Remember, and I sang it at a vigil, which was one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had, and they've played it at walks, and my autism song I've sung and played at autism walkathons, and it's just it just feels so good to bring words and give a voice to these different organizations.
Right, I have goosebumps.
Oh. I know you said that's when the truth is.
Yeah, because it's like the truth. You know, when you hear
okay.
it or hear something that's such a good idea,
Yeah.
and what a unifying thing that is, a song.
Oh, music is
for an
cuts
event,
right
and
through.
Everyone's listening at the same time. Like, I love an audience. That's why I see a movie once a week. And when my husband and I go on vacation, we always see a movie. And people say, why would you want to do that when you're on vacation?
That's interesting.
I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I want to be with that audience. Like, we went to see a movie in Plymouth, Massachusetts, when we were there seeing Plymouth Plantation. And it was so fun to be with these people that live in Plymouth, listen to them laugh. Are they laughing at the same things we're laughing at? Or
that's nice.
I don't know. Anyway, so
that's a nice concept, the unifying aspect of people listening at the same time, and that's a whole different level of what makes music so wonderful. And,
yeah, because everyone's listening at the same time. which I think is fabulous. Now, you have something on your website that I loved. I asked Suzanne, who's helping us film today, I said, I had her, as I was driving over here, I said, read her bio and have my highlighter ready because for something that I wanted you to highlight. And I wanted her to highlight this. At the core, my message to my audience is to have hope. Things can get better, and it's always worth the effort to try.
You know, I think I wrote that when I was trying to decide what to put on my website, and I think that comes from this eternal sense of optimism, but I feel like it's deeper than that because the world is in such turmoil and always has been, certainly since I was born. And I think that if we as artists and writers and the people who feel like it's important to make a difference, that if we can hold the space for those in the world that do see the light at the end of these horribly dark tunnels, that's an important thing to do. It's actually work that I think it's critical. Otherwise, the darkness will overcome us. And I mean, you know, we can get into a whole spiritual conversation about that too, which I'm certainly happy to do. And I know we don't have that much time. I could go on and on about that because I believe really deeply that that's what those words reflect, is that my core philosophy and the value that we have to reach and extend to others, whether it's catching someone's eye in a grocery store and maybe just having them shift their attitude from drudgery to connection.
Right, saying hi to each other. Yeah, that's the only problem I have with people walking around with earphones and instead of being able to say hi to somebody. You could really make somebody's day just saying hi or get a business deal or get a job.
Exactly.
Just because you never know what's going to happen when you open your mouth.
You never know who you're talking to or who you're running into.
But I love, that's why, I like your songs because they're upbeat and I write about sad things as well as happy things. I like to write a lot of humor. But I just like things to have a happy ending. I hate going to movies if I walk out depressed. I don't mind if everybody dies at the end, because then I figure they're at least together.
Right, yeah, that's funny. I think about that too.
But I can't stand if I pay money and this couple that I want to get together and be in love at the end of the movie, they end up leading separate lives. That I can't stand.
No,
I don't see movies like that.
You know, we get to choose how we spend our free time and what really makes us feel good. Well, I'm glad you said that because I don't think of my songs as sad either. I mean, I may be touching on sad things. I mean, certainly Mothers Against Drunk Driving. I mean, those people that have experienced those horrors, but it's what you do with it. And it's, the fact that people, and it actually brings up a really great point. It's a good example of an organization that took the worst possible tragedy and transforms that energy into helping other people. That's the essence of what it means, I think, to be a spiritually good person. That's
just taking the bad and how can we prevent this from happening to somebody else?
Exactly.
Or how can we help somebody else that's feeling that tragedy? Now, that leads me up to your book, Each Moment We're Alive. Now, this is an earlier version of a book that you're doing a second edition on.
I am. And the reason I'm doing a second edition is because this was a rushed project because my dear friend Monica, who's the photographer of this photography book that is illustrated by the lyrics of Each Moment We're Alive, which is a song that I wrote for cancer survivors at her bequest. She was really starting to dwindle. She had stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, and I rushed the project through so she could have something in her hands to leave a legacy. And this came out, and it's a beautiful book. And
it's beautiful. I read it. I just loved how it was, even though she's got cancer and she's in remission, but other times she's not. But her images, she was doing her work of taking photographs. She became a photographer late in life, a wildlife photographer.
That's when I met her, when she actually made that decision.
And I just love that she was grabbing the beauty and putting it out there. And I always felt that way, raising my severely handicapped daughter. She was sick a lot. But when she wasn't in the hospital and wasn't in pain, I used to try to take her out in my red convertible, put her red sunglasses on to match, and off we'd go. Because I just feel like if you're not physically suffering where you're hooked up to life support, then it's great to get out there. Meet people or just listen to people or pray for people if you're too sick to go out. There's just something about getting outside of yourself.
Absolutely.
And this woman, your friend's images were so touching. Animals looking at each other, the monks looking, I forget where they were looking, but she just...
turned away, and just the image,
so the colors were beautiful, just a wide variety of
what's
people.
nice about the book, too, is that there are captions under each photograph talking about how Monica came to that photograph and what the image meant to her.
I love that what it meant to her, to hear what's going on behind her. And then each page has verses from your song that you wrote.
Yeah.
Do we have time for you to sing that? Is that a guitar
I think so.
song?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I'd love to. I just want to add one more thing about Monica, that you were talking about being with someone being with Monica was so exciting, because if she was anywhere in a park or just walking down the street, the way she helped me see how life could be seen through the eyes of a photographer and the beauty in each moment was really the inspiration for this song. And she had actually asked me to write it shortly after my dad had died of cancer. So it really meant a lot to me to be able to do this. So I gave voice to these cancer survivors that I met. She gathered us together. Please don't offer sympathy. It's hard for me to hear how you feel sorry. Some say we're closer to a cure each day, but still my body turns away to betray me. What I really want is for you to know just what it is when my story's told that sustains me. It's a strength that somehow makes its way through all the words and the simple faith that I'll make it. Some say cancer cannot cripple love, shatter hope, or be anything but angry. When you work so hard to stay alive, you need a reason pushing you to strive to keep going. It's a message, it's a wake-up call, it's a plea to understand it all and find meaning. For the scary roller coaster ride and the hope that never leaves my side for long.
Unfortunately,
okay.
But we can get that song later, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to have to finish up. Thank you so much for coming, because I want to have you back on. I want to talk about your book when it's going to be launched.
Okay, sounds great. And please go on my website to hear the song.
Oh, we can hear the whole song on your website?
Yes,
oh,
yes,
wonderful.
There's a link. Yes.
Great, because I'm sorry to have to
That's
cut
okay,
you
it's
off.
okay. That's all right.
But because I want to hear it in the book. I can't wait for your book to come out, and we'll talk
I'm very
about
excited
it. So
about it.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
For coming on. Thank you so much for
Thanks
joining
for asking
us
me.
on the Lisa Saunders Show.